Welcome to Fargo Talks Fargo, an unofficial podcast on the FX television series. Fargo Talks Fargo is hosted by me, Bill, and my buddy Charpie. This season of Fargo Talks Fargo is sponsored by Fargo Brewing and their Wood Chipper IPA. Also, this episode is brought to you by Audible.com. Tune in later to find out more about how you can get a free trial to Audible. So, here we are recording episode 3, The Myth of Sisyphus. Already screwing up the show. The Myth of Sisyphus, not taking that one out. Hotdish, Charpie.
This is the Hotdish.
Yes.
And so for those that don't know, the Hotdish is our quick take, our quick reaction on the recent episode of Fargo.
Yeah, here we are just shortly after 10, recording. Well, 10 o'clock Central here. Sorry.
10 o'clock, Fargo time.
We watch it, then we record. That's the way it works. Had to geek out right away with the Yama Yama song by the Yamasuki singers.
Yes, tell the audience about this.
I can't help myself. I'm completely enthralled by the music direction on this show by Jeff Russo, and so now I found myself just saying, "Hey Siri," oh crap, I'm not supposed to say that live into a mic. "Hey Shlomo," because otherwise people listening, their phone turns on and stuff. Anyway.
Well, now it's like at least specific to your own voice.
True.
So they should be good.
Yeah, it should be better. But I had to ask what the song was, and it was Yama Yama by Yamasuki, which through some quick Googling on the commercial breaks.
We're talking about the introduction, the opening song.
Yeah, with during the rabbit scene. And I know this is what this is. We're not going to go crazy deep dive, but it was just too cool for me to realize that it's there's a guy named Daniel Vanguard. He's a French songwriter producer. He produced all this stuff, and one of the groups he had was the Yamasuki Singers, which was a pseudo-Japanese concept album of pop songs, which is what that was from, that Yama Yama song. But Daniel Vanguard was also born Daniel Balgater. Sorry, I'm just murdering his name. But
that's true.
Quick connections. They used the song Yamasuki at the end of the closing credits for Kumiko the Treasure Hunter, which, if you tuned into us talking last season, is a somewhat fictionalized version of a true story about a gal who thought the movie Fargo was real from Japan and came over here, and she eventually froze to death, looking for the treasure.
That's not funny.
I know, you cold, heartless bastard. If you were a white rabbit, you would get your heart eaten after they break your neck. Anyway, so there's the connection between Fargo and a story about Fargo from Kumiko the Treasure Hunter. And then on top of that, this guy, Vanguard, he's the father of one of the members of Daft Punk, which just totally cool to me. That has nothing to do with the story. It just has everything to do with like incredible music selections. It's great.
That is pretty incredible. Nice little tie-in there, Bill.
Just opening the show with a little.
It doesn't have to have
tip.
anything to do with the story, but it has to do with the universe.
It's Charpie. It's the Durkee's French fried onions on top of one of your oven baked dishes here in the Midwest. It's just a little something extra. Don't make that. Take it out of the can. Pour it right on top. I gotta know, Charpie. I'm picking up a lot of Nazi.
There's a lot of Nazi going on. Yeah, we open up with the Gerhardt house and a little family meeting after the whole like Indian and rabbit spiel. That was pretty cool. I like to see some character development in that flea.
And it had a lot of good little Bible quote and comments about promises being made, and I feel like they're gathering up the pieces to find out what's going to happen, because this is definitely the tip of the iceberg between Gerhardt's and the Kansas City crew.
That's interesting. So yeah, we're seeing a lot of Nazi references. We're hearing about. So there's obviously that giant, big Nazi-ish eagle flag in the background of the Gerhardt home.
Yes.
We're seeing Molly watching some sort of Nazi movie. What was it called?
Operation Eagle's Nest.
Eagle's Nest.
Right? Wasn't the Eagle's Nest Hitler's secret hideout?
Yes, I think that was correct. That was like his mansion, right?
Yeah, it's his big fancy place.
Yeah.
Watch Band of Brothers.
So a lot of Nazi references. The Gerhardts may be involved with the Nazi party. We don't know. I mean, I guess we kind of know.
They're not. Well, who knows? I'm just saying there's some sort of weird German tie to what they are. It's not that great.
It's not that great.
No. And then too, when they go in and they open those gates, there's that big G in that, like, they
Which
think
was on
very
that
highly
flag.
of themselves. Yeah, they think highly of themselves, these folks.
They've got a brand.
They do. They're sticking to it, Oh yeah. I keep thinking it's some sort of Axis versus the Allies shit going on in there, but I also keep noting color. We've got a lot of orange, blues, some pretty heavy yellow tones, and then some people are just brown. I keep thinking that's because Dodd's a piece of shit.
So this is you've been mentioning color a lot, and definitely color has been a fantastic theme throughout the show. There's been a lot of complementary things going on. The colors have been really great, but in this episode, in my opinion, this was the greatest execution of color because every scene was a perfect harmony of colors. There were usually 3 dominant colors, and you've been mentioning a lot of blue, you've been mentioning a lot of orange, and red, obviously. These, if you just look at the scene as a whole, look at the whole composition, there's perfect harmony within all the colors, and I think that's really interesting. And I don't know if you watch this other show, but the show that has done it so well, which I think is a very underrated show and underwatched show. Have you ever watched Big Time in Hollywood, Florida?
No, I have not. I haven't.
If there are listeners out there who have watched Big Time in Hollywood, Florida, I can't ever seem to stop talking about this show, and I know we're talking about Fargo here, but if you watch the color harmony in Big Time in Hollywood, Florida, and you can see it on I think Hulu or whatever, you see almost the same harmonious color scheme, but toned way down. Like if you were just to pull the saturation way out. And there's something beautiful about that show, and that's what reminded me, like, this specific episode. It's like the same color scheme, but if you just like started ripping all the color out over time. And now I'm more like acute to that sense of harmonious colors in a scene because it was exaggerated in that show, and I feel like this is another great example of that, where people are starting to pay more attention to the colors as a whole. And I just think I think it's like really interesting to me. I'm a graphic designer. I'm like
I know. No, I'm not laughing at you noting that. I'm laughing because I just decided that Harmonious Color Scene is going to be the name of your like weird hipster band where one of you kicks a bass drum and there's a lot of like airy electric guitars with reverb on it. It's my riff on the prog rock band with Mike Milligan. But for you, because you live in Colorado, you gotta be like kind of hipstery. I thought there was a lot of really fun quotes that were tiebacks to episodes already, or just that Hank's funny.
Hank Larson.
Yeah, but or at least I typed up, and hopefully I grabbed this right. Ben Schmidt said something to the effect of, "I heard the crime scene was a deal."
Yes, and I want to talk about that too, just a little bit.
Well, what do you want to say? Go ahead.
So yeah, that's the second time we've heard that was a deal.
That was a deal.
And I'm not really familiar with that phrase. I don't know. Is that like a phrase that you've heard? Have you heard that?
Yeah.
You have?
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean,
have you really?
Different. Yes.
I've never heard that phrase.
I was born in the 70s.
Is that a 70s thing?
I don't know. I mean, it's
not a Fargo thing.
No, I think it's very Midwest. I mean, people talk about that a little bit like that, like it's a thing. Like you're like, no, they had, the whole deal. They had the whole deal. It was a thing.
Okay.
I
was probably just too young and strapping.
Yeah, but you've heard people talk like that. I know you have. Like, oh yeah, come on over. We're having, there's gonna be music. The whole deal. It's a deal. It's a thing. They had a real big wedding. They hired a real band. The whole deal. It's like, to me, at least my memory of it is that it's the whole kit and caboodle.
Okay.
It's like, oh, geez, that's a deal. That's a mess. It's a whole bunch of stuff.
I don't know about that.
Well, fine. You don't have to have it, but either way,
it was I can get down with.
Yeah.
The deal.
It was a toss back to that, especially, and then along with the Hank saying shit that I like, is that he says it's not like you're gonna drive home with a Gerhardt in your windshield and start supper. Peggy's got her oh shit face on.
That could not possibly happen.
Oh, that's just not right.
Seems unreasonable.
We're skipping all over now, but that's okay. People will be remembering stuff. Continuing also my so the episode was the Myth of Sisyphus. So Charpie and I, as we text each other during the show, still we got to think a little more. I haven't put a pin in who's Sisyphus in this.
Who's syphilis?
Syphilis, yeah. It's a terrible way to go.
This episode was about syphilis, is that right?
No, Sisyphus. Yeah, the guy that pushes the big rock up the hill. But as pointed out by some other people I saw online after this, that they're pretty sure the daughter was reading the book in the meat shop. But I was a little too busy to notice the book because the cash register was $6. No big deal. I can't let it go.
You can't let it go. You have an
Nope.
issue.
Hey, I also
long after this show airs and is over with, you're gonna be like looking at sixes all the time.
I'm gonna be mumbling about this shit till I'm so old.
Your wife's gonna put you in a home.
Oh,
you're just gonna be like, "It's a six. It's a six. It's a $6.
Another toss back was Dodd's daughter calling another guy a fella. Oh, just like in the movie Fargo. Oh yeah, the little fella.
Mm-hmm.
Funny looking. I don't know. I feel like there's plenty of things. I also will note that there's been some really good use of period correct license plates. Not that anyone cares. I do. I noticed that. I've been trying to find myself a good, nice, clean set of 1974 plates for a while, and there was a set in the...
Well, you're a vintage car guy, so you should know those types of things.
Yeah, got to get that on my 1974 Volkswagen so that I can pull up at the pump.
For those who don't know,
shot.
Bill Limpy's a giant Volkswagen fan, so...
Nerd.
And this show happens to be sponsored by Audi, so...
Oh, it is now. new sponsor on deck, huh?
No, the actual show.
Oh, yeah. Hey, did you notice that Fargo wide shot? I was like, damn, that's a pretty fucking nice town. I'd live there. Didn't look like Fargo, like the real Fargo, but...
It's Canada.
They had the whole...
Canada's a lot like Fargo.
Yeah, no kidding. Close enough. Vancouver never plays itself, right?
Except for healthcare and stuff.
You should, yeah. No, I was talking about the every frame of painting. Vancouver never plays itself. You guys should look that up on YouTube. No, but they did do a good job. I mean, the courthouse has kind of that feel. The Cass County Courthouse, where they would have been, has like that old school, old world theme with the big, tall, domey thing.
Yes, it does. Cass County, the county that Fargo resides in.
Yeah, that works. I think they touched on a lot of interesting things too. The typewriters, the spaceships.
That was interesting.
But I thought the road conversation with Mike Milligan and Hank and the church boys was church boys?
The kitchen church boys.
Take me to church.
Churches have kitchens.
Two incredibly tense scenes. Like if you were to do battle royale between those two scenes, was the one at the typewriter more tense for you, or
No, the one with Hank Larson was more tense for me.
Was that more tense for you?
Yeah. I mean, I knew that, being it's a television drama, I knew that Lou wasn't going to pull the trigger. I really wanted him to. And in opposite that, in the Hank Larson scene, I was kind of expecting something to go down, and it didn't. But it's all because of knowledge that it's just because of like I'm thinking of it as a TV show, and I'm not like totally immersed in the world. So I was expecting kind of the Ted Danson character to die soon. I was like, I don't think they're ready for man. That. But I knew Lou wasn't gonna die. I knew Lou wasn't gonna get hurt.
I know. I just thought maybe he would. I thought he would have shot somebody at some point.
Would have been nice to see him shoot somebody.
But I think it would have brought up too much shit for him, for a guy being out of his jurisdiction, so to speak. But I mean, if you think about it, between the Gerhardt
I think that
deal,
was mainly it. He was out of his jurisdiction. He knew he couldn't shoot.
Well, he's out of his fucking element, Donnie.
Yeah.
Can't do anything about that. What else do you want to bring to the hot dish that you think we might bring up?
The typewriter guy.
Poor guy.
So obviously we see him get barreled in some hot gravel.
Yeah, I was trying to decide, was it dirt or was it asphalt? Because they had a steamroller there.
Yeah, it was asphalt. It was hot. It was steaming.
Yeah. But they just poured it onto what appeared to be gravel, which doesn't really work. Someone's going to be like, hey, what's up with this asphalt? But I guess those Gerhardts just don't give a shit.
Yeah, well, I don't think he dies.
What? You think he survived hot asphalt or even dirt or the weight of all that?
Yes, I do, because we've seen trailers, and granted, trailers oftentimes have scenes that don't make it into the end product, but we've seen scenes with him that we haven't seen yet. We've seen him in scenes in trailers that he hasn't shown up in yet. So either those scenes got cut or dude ain't dead.
Maybe he's got a twin brother like the Kitchens.
That's stupid.
And he happens to work for International Business Machines.
This new company that's on the forefront of technology.
Yes. He's working for old Big Blue. He's over there in a bigger part of Minnesota, though, you know?
Typewriter Man is not dead.
The circular patterns guy at the gas station calling them visitors. That got me a little jazzed.
Yeah, because you said visitors earlier.
I know. Weird thing.
Okay.
When Lou's wife, whose name just escaped me at the moment, when she said, did she say, do you want me to get you some divinity?
Yes, she did.
And then, but did you see what she brought him?
No, I didn't.
She brought him something that looked like flipping cake, man, and that ain't divinity.
No, it's not.
Because divinity, correct me if I'm wrong, man, is just egg whites, corn syrup, and like powdered sugar. Or something like that.
What?
Here's
that sounds
the deal.
awful.
It's just fluffy white sugar delivery. You've never had divinity?
I've had it. I don't remember. I don't
Google
know how
that
to
for me
make
right
it.
now. You use the Google and tell me. My grandmother right now is so mad at me for not knowing. Oh, I'm typing this in. Google, dear Google, divinity.
I know it's white.
Of course it is. Don't you remember we talked about everything up here is like covered in mayo, cream cheese. So I'm doing divinity.
Yes, what I'm looking
dessert.
at is like the little cookie things.
I'm not even going to click on a Paula Deen recipe. That lady's a bitch.
That will just be like frozen butter if it was a Paula Deen recipe. Take some butter and freeze it, and then you eat it like a cookie.
Yeah, and it comes with a big side of racist. Here it is, straight from Wikipedia, and that's always true. Divinity is a nougat-like confection with egg white, corn syrup, and sugar. Sometimes they'll put dried fruit and chopped nuts added to it. Replacing the sugar with brown sugar creates a related confection called seafoam. At least in my house, growing up, Grandma or somebody would stop by with some divinity around the holidays. Always around the holidays.
Yeah, I've never liked it.
I don't know. I thought it looked like a piece of cake.
Now that you tell me what's in it, I know why
You're
I
never
never
going to eat it again.
Because it's bullshit. None of those things are real.
It's totally awesome.
They shouldn't call it divinity. They should just call it diabetes.
It's like egg minus the fat with sugar added. It's basically it's as American as you can get. Remove the fat.
That is not
corn
fucking
syrup
American.
and sugar, and then okay, we've derailed so bad
in a good way.
So here's
Stop
the deal.
eating divinity.
Don't eat your divinity if you come across
Leave your
it. Okay?
diabetes pills to the side.
I don't think it was an accident that they had divinity in there, though.
It wasn't an accident. That is definitely true.
Know thyself, Charpie. Tomorrow we need to cover some stuff. We need to look into what's going on with all this German stuff. We need to figure out who Sisyphus is, if anyone, or if something is Sisyphus. We need to come to terms with this.
I'm French, so I'm just going to let you deal with the Germans.
We didn't even get a chance to talk about Ed and Peggy driving into the tree. So I'd say all this and more needs to get covered, but we have to thank one more time Fargo Brewing for sponsoring the show. Please go to fargobrewing.com and check out their beer. And if you're in the area, go drink some. Tell them Bill and Charpie sent you. Also, audible.com has helped us out. So just go to audible.com or audibletrial.com/Fargo Talks Fargo and check it out. And just because this is the hot dish, if you want, go back in any one of the at our website, fargotalksfargo.com, and use any of those links. And we've already given a bunch of recommendations for a few books, and we'll have another good one for you tomorrow night. Unless you got a quick one off the cuff, Charpie. You got one off the cuff?
Nope.
Okay, that's all right. I'd still really think Kitchen Confidential as a quick read. I call it a read, and it is, but I'd go check that one out. But do that.
I have one for Wednesday's show, but I don't want to talk about it till then.
Yeah, that's all right. So I don't know. You got anything else you want to add real quick here? I think that's a no.
Follow me on Twitter. My name's @Charpie.
Oh yeah,
CHARPIE.
Follow me at LEMPE, or you could Fargo. You could follow at Fargo Talks Fargo, or find us on Facebook at Fargo Talks Fargo. So I think let's put this hot dish back in the fridge and rock out some leftovers tomorrow.
Sounds good.
I mean leftover food, not Leftovers, the HBO show, which is also very good.
All right.
Awesome,
Later,
dude.
guys.
We'll talk to you tomorrow night. Bye.